Certainly one of the outstanding qualities of Jesus is his sheer honesty. He never left men in any doubt what would happen to them if they chose to follow him. He was very clear that he had come not to make life easy, but to make men great. And the Beatitudes are the conditions that Jesus lays down for entering the kingdom of heaven. And the last verse of the gospel is, in a certain way, a summary of the preceding verses. It is also an invitation to everyone to put this teaching into practice in our lives. The Catholic life is no easy matter, but it is worthwhile given the reward that Jesus promises. So that last line in summary says this: "Blessed are you when they insult you and persecute you and utter every kind of evil against you falsely because of me. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward will be great in heaven." Now, isn't that a deal? Something to look forward to. You know, it's hard for us to realize that as Catholic Christians, we have to suffer. Every department of our life can be disrupted. Our working life, our social life, and even our family life can be seriously disrupted if we are living according to the Beatitudes. Suppose a man is a stonemason. Now, that seems like a pretty harmless occupation. But suppose his firm receives a contract to build an exotic nightclub. What's that man to do? Suppose a woman is a surgical nurse, and suppose the hospital she worked for began performing abortions. What's that woman to do? Suppose a man is an engineer, and the firm he works for is starting to design new bombs. What's that man to do? Suppose this person is a salesperson, and the company they work for has just produced some contraceptive device that one is expected to market and sell. What's that person to do? You know, it's not difficult to find a situation where a conflict between business interests and loyalty to Jesus Christ might exist. What about the social life of a Catholic? Suppose a child is on a basketball team that has just started to have practice or even games on Sunday mornings during the Holy Mass. What's that parent, what's that child to do? Suppose there's a woman whose work schedule is brutal, and the only day she can sleep in is Sunday morning. What's that woman to do? Hopefully, 6 o'clock Mass at night, right? That would be good. That would be good. Suppose there's a man who has only non-Catholic friends, and they invite him to participate in all their religious services. What's that man to do? Suppose a man is on a business trip, and after being away for a week, the guys decide to go to an inappropriate night spot for entertainment. What's that man to do? The Catholic Christian must cut himself off from others rather than, by his presence, give approval to such a thing. One must be prepared to be lonely in order to be a Catholic. What about the family life of the Catholic? It happens again and again that one or more members of a family fall away from the Catholic faith. At least I could say that in my family. It could be a spouse or a child or a brother or sister. But suppose a daughter falls in love with a non-Catholic and she refuses to contact the church for any advice. What are the parents to do about a wedding? What if you're invited to a same-sex union? What's a person to do? Suppose a spouse has taken a liking to the really great music at the local evangelical church and wants you to go to that church. What's a husband to do? Suppose the Catholics don't offer anything for the youth like the church down the street that does all kinds of other fun things. What's a parent or a child to do? Suppose your teenager comes home and has this new outfit that they have on, and it is completely immodest. What's a parent to do? You know, to be a Catholic means that it is literally true that a man might have to love Christ more than he loves father or mother, wife or brother or sister. You know, the only crime of the early Christians was that they set Christ above Caesar. And for that supreme loyalty, the Christians died and were killed in the thousands. They faced torture for the sake of the lonely supremacy of Jesus Christ. And there are so many of us who have never in our lives made anything like a real sacrifice for Jesus Christ. The moment when our faith seems likely to cost us something is the moment when it is open to us to demonstrate our loyalty to Jesus Christ in a way that all the world can see. When a person is called on to suffer something for his faith, that is always a crucial moment. It is the great occasion. It is the clash between the world and Christ. It is a moment in the drama of eternity. To have a share in such a moment is not a penalty, but a glory. Remember what Jesus said? Rejoice and be glad, for your reward will be great in heaven. Now, it's not likely that death awaits any one of us who insists on Catholic honor. But insults await the one who insists on being loyal to the Catholic faith. Mockery waits the one who practices Catholic love and forgiveness. Actual persecution may well await the Catholic in industry who insists on doing what the church says is right and not doing what the church says is wrong. Christ still needs his witnesses. He needs those who are prepared, not so much to die for him as to live for him. Because the Christian struggle and the Christian glory still exists. Yes, being a Catholic can be lonely. But when a man has to suffer something for his faith, that is the way to the closest possible companionship with Jesus Christ. With that kind of a companion who even thinks about loneliness.